Games which is still to show everyone. Arsenal with a 5-point lead over Manchester City. Played a game more. Aston Villa 30, 31, 36. It looks healthy, doesn't it, for the Gunners?
Yeah, it does. I mean, obviously these are the games that you need to win if you want to, be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. So, especially with Man City, who have been there for, many times, their experience that they've done it. You've got them breathing down your neck as well. So it's important now to try and keep as much distance as you can between yourselves and them, because they have sort of, shortened that gap a little bit now. So sitting top of Christmas, you'll be happy with that. And, hopefully a lot more to look forward to now in the new year.
Yeah, look, Arsenal were frustrated, whether that was down to Wolves, whether it was down to a bit of themselves. They didn't have a shot on target, Tim, until the 68th minute. Yeah. But the first goal came in the 70th from a corner. Surprise, surprise.
It's about the delivery. It is when Declan takes it. It is when Saka takes it. I think Sam Johnson in the goal there, he's looking for a defender or someone to come onto his toes, and no one ever does. And they get a little bit fortunate, of course they do, but the delivery was absolutely magnificent from Bukayo Saka. A player who's just amazing for that in that Arsenal shirt. When you need someone to get you out of trouble, he was the one who stood up there today, not only with that goal, with the delivery, but he's a constant threat. And as we see with a winning goal as well.
Aaron, your old teammate, Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal boss, he said he was very frustrated at just how passive Arsenal were, having taken the lead.
Yeah, I think, it was a very honest assessment after the game. And, at the end of the day, the 3 points is all that matters. But, you want to be able to learn from these little experiences that you get throughout the season. So for them, yeah, as soon as they scored, they looked a bit...
edgy.
A bit edgy, like they were sort of trying to protect that now. And that just invited Wolves, onto them. Put themselves under unnecessary pressure. The ball comes out, the guy has a free, cross to put in the box. Nobody really closes him down. And then, turning your back, you got to face that ball and take one in the face if you must. But all these little things were, you could sense it. They were under pressure for, 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever it was. And Wolves did deserve that probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only reason they're that deep. I mean, they're deeper than the penalty spot there, Will. I mean, in normal circumstances, when that ball goes out and it gets cleared, they're out to the 18-yard box and they're holding a line there. But because they get nervy, they're trying to hold on, they all got behind the ball. It was unnecessary for them all to be that deep and behind the ball. And when you give even poor players like Wolves have the timing to deliver a ball into your box, and it was a decent finish in the end, and you thought, hold on a minute, this is disastrous for Arsenal. But, champions find a way to win, and perhaps that is, for me, I think they'll win it this year. I really do. I believe they will. I think when they see obstacles in their way, they're getting over them at the moment. Even when they take a devastating defeat last week at Aston Villa, in the 95th minute or something. They needed to win today, and the pressure was on them to come and put a performance in. They didn't do that. Yeah. There was no performance. It was edgy towards the end. But you know what the most important thing is? The result. They get 3 points, maximum points, and the manager can then show them the video of how they drop deep, and they can learn from it going forward. Because, believe you me, it's going to get a lot more edgy than what it is now. Yeah. The anxiety is going to increase during the season.
And if they are to win the Premier League title, they might look back at this game and think this was a key moment. This was in the 94th minute. It's nearly Christmas. One own goal wasn't enough, was it? Yerson Mosquera in the 94th minute here. Gabriel Jesus causing all sorts of problems around him, Aaron.
Yeah, what I loved here was they had the overload in the box there, 4 against 3. And then Saka, obviously coming in onto his left. We know how deadly he is from these positions. Put in an excellent ball. And then the runs then, his run across the defender is brilliant. He causes that bit of sort of, unrest between them. And then, it comes off his head and goes into his own goal. But, the runs there were just as important as the cross to create that goal. But that's it. They found a way. They kept going. Last week, they were on the other end of it, where Villa did that. But this week, they seem to have learned from that as well. And finish the job off. No chance for you, for Wolves, Tim, in terms of the games they've got remaining? I mean, they're breaking all sorts of records they don't want to break at the moment, aren't they? No chance whatsoever. I don't blame Rob Edwards. I think whoever would have gone in there now, I think the lack of quality what they have, unless someone went in there with a magic wand, they were always going to get relegated. And I think that's where they see them in the Championship, unfortunately. But it was a good performance today. But
Don't need good performances, you need good points. And at the moment, 2 points, not good enough.
Yeah, you just saw the stats there. They need a result at home to Brentford to...
Not to feel for him, and football can be cruel or joyous depending on which side of the coin you're on. And in fact, up until the last 5 minutes of that game, it was going last.
Yeah.
So what do you make of Arsenal's performance, really?
Well, first of all, I have to say how brilliant Wolves were and how hard and difficult, and they frustrated Arsenal for long periods of the game. And Arsenal didn't play well at all. There was a nervousness about it. They were edgy. But ultimately, what they did, I thought, really well, Arsenal, was what they've done really well in games this season also, is crosses. That was the one constant in the game today, that particularly down the right-hand side with this guy. And what is impressive also is how many numbers they actually get in the box. You got Tim up there, that ball goes in there, he comes inside, left foot, very good cross. 1v1 on the right-hand side. He goes again. You know what he can do. Very difficult to mark. He goes on the outside this time. But same thing again. You've got bodies in the box. This time it's Rice that's getting on the end of it. But constantly they're putting balls into the box and asking questions of the defence. And I don't care who you're playing against. It's tough to do. That's it. That's an unbelievable cross and deserved to be in the back of the net. But he kept on doing it. 30 crosses they got in the box today. Second in games, that is. 32 they had against Manchester City, and there's no doubt that I'm seeing that more crosses, not only from Arsenal but from teams that are coming into the box last season and in particular this season. And ultimately, when you keep on putting balls into the box, that's what's won them the game today. Whether they played well or not, you can discuss who was good, who was not, but that was the impressive thing about them, is how many times they kept going into those positions and getting them in there, and still people trying to get on the end of it.
Look, it was another set piece that broke the deadlock here, and there's a bit of noise as well about Saka and offside in the build-up to this, which we will clear up in a minute, Dan.
Yeah, here it is. I mean, you can tell he's in an offside position there from the first look, and most of us watching it thinking, oh, he could be offside, and then when it actually goes, he clears it out for a corner. We'll go through the rules in a minute. It's not offside. They get the corner. We know how good they are. It's actually not his best ball in the world. Keeper should deal with it, and he doesn't. But the amount of pressure they constantly put on goalkeepers, time and time again, it's no wonder they make mistakes. But he'll be disappointed with that. And they get the look as well. Bounces off the post on the back of him, and that's where we thought the game was done.
OK, so here's the reason why, and we've checked with Pidgeot MOL here, why he wouldn't have been given offside here. Because Bukayo Saka didn't do any of these four things. He didn't affect his opponent's line of vision. He didn't challenge the opponent for the ball. He didn't attempt to play the ball. He just dropped off, didn't he? And he didn't do anything that impacted the ability of the opponent to play the ball. So when you look at it, like that, in black and white, that is why he wasn't given offside.
Yeah, and you have to accept that decision. When that's something we've seen now for a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he'd have gone in and scored on that, he'd have been off. So yeah, right decision. Well done, VAR.
Yeah.
Refs. All of you.
All of them, whoever they are, all of the officials. 5 games this Sunday.
As well, another win at home, Martin. 4 as well of their next 6 games are at home, which will give them a massive lift as well.
Yeah, but you're just striving for perfection, and it's I think they've sat in a little bit. Maybe they sat in a little bit at Sunderland. Maybe they sat in a bit at Aston Villa, and clearly they sat in here. And you invite that pressure on, and the pressure mounts. The opposition get opportunities, and I think that's something they won't do again. You've got to go and press that ball and don't invite people on, and it made it difficult for themselves, but they still found a way to win.
Is it sometimes good to have a game like that
100%.
In the middle of this run, because it just sharpens the minds a little bit and reminds you what you've got to do?
Yeah, 100%. And to be fair, they've got here by doing what they've done, by being brave, having courage and being aggressive and being the best defensive team. I thought they invited Wolves onto them, and I think Mikel can show on the clips. And in the end, they got away with it. They found a way to get the 3 points, but he can show on the clip, say, guys, we can't sit in against the team that's bottom. We got to go and be aggressive, put pressure on them, force them to play the ball. And I think he'll be delighted, really, that they got away with it today.
And your look told me you don't think it's ever good, Martin.
No, I think it's a reality check, and it keeps your feet on the ground. And in a way, it's brilliant for the manager because he knows now there's improvements to be made. And while you keep making improvements, you're not patting people on the back too much. And they know there's work ahead of them. There's a hell of a long way to go yet in this Premier League race.
But you can breathe a big sigh of relief.
Of course,
Martin.
I'm relieved.
Let the breath out. Thank you very much for your company tonight, Owen. Thank you as
What delight.